begins tonight after the game on NBC Bay Area. Real-time traffic with Mikey Noe on Today in the Bay.
Hello and welcome to Comunidad del Valle. I'm Damian Trujillo, and today Facebook comes to our studios. They're called Latin at, right here on your Comunidad del Valle.
NBC Bay Area presents Comunidad del Valle with Damian Trujillo.
We begin today with Fleet Week, which has been in the Bay Area for all this week. This past week, Garth Langley is Public Affairs Officer with Fleet Week, and with us also is Miguel Torres, a member of the United States Marine Corps. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
We have some amazing video from years past of Fleet Week. Talk about what we're seeing here and what can we expect to see this year.
Well, you know, we're bringing you back the 35th annual San Francisco Fleet Week, a longtime San Francisco maritime tradition, of course, brought to you in 1981 by then Mayor Dianne Feinstein. You know, in the last decade or so, we really reshaped Fleet Week. You know, it's not only a time to celebrate our armed forces, but it's an opportunity to train. And ongoing this week, we have a number of training opportunities, including helicopter demonstrations, working with civic agencies on how we would respond to a major earthquake or other natural disaster that we know is probably going to face this region soon. But of course, we have a lot of fun events. You know, military bands throughout the city. The service members are lining the streets. Of course, the air show will be back Thursday for a practice and a full air show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, new this year, we've got Bark at the Park in DuBose Park, and we're going to showcase military canines on display and what they do. Everybody seems to love dogs. And lastly, you know, we have Fleet Fest. It's a brand new event, a family-friendly environment. We're actually going to have a 2-day music and food festival. We partnered with Off the Grid and Lyft to present this, and we hope that the folks come out and just enjoy the atmosphere and, of course, the service members that are here visiting. On the training aspect of it, I mean, you kind of we're giving you a kind of an urban setting to kind of do your practicing, right? I mean, it doesn't get any more urban than this. You know, you look at the landscape here in the Bay Area, and we are, you know, very densely populated. You know, we had to figure out certain ways of how we can use the military capabilities to augment what the civilian agencies are already doing. So, you know, specifically, we look to do things like urban search and rescue training, and we partnered with the San Francisco Fire Department to actually go to their facility on Treasure Island and work through some of the issues that, you know, we would actually face in the event of a disaster. And so, real training is happening, real celebration is happening, but a whole lot of learning and fun is happening at the same time. Very cool. Mr. Torres, tell us where you're from and why you decided to sign up with the Marine Corps.
I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas. Decided to join because my brother was prior Marine, and this is something I've always wanted to do.
We saw the firepower that was demonstrated there, the Blue Angels and whatnot. Talk about your experience with this type of machinery, and a lot of us are in awe, but you as a member of the Marine Corps, your reaction when you see some of this activity there?
I still think it's pretty cool, you know, like even though when we train, we see a lot of this all the time, but every time I see it, it's like the first time seeing it.
What is it about the Marine Corps that made you say that's the one?
I've always heard they're the best, so. And I wanted a challenge.
This is this area has a tradition of military service. We're talking back to the Presidio days, and when when we needed to house our military. This is one of those places where we did it.
Absolutely. San Francisco has such a long maritime and, tradition of hosting our armed forces. You look at all of the landscape now. There's military bases that, are now converted to places where, it seems it's hard to believe that just yesterday that they were here. Marines used to be on Treasure Island, naval bases throughout the city, and there's so many service members really just all over the Bay Area. Now we have an event really to showcase our military, which is Fleet Week, and so it's a reminder that we are a military town. The Bay Area has had a long-standing military history, and we're just happy that we can celebrate once a year during this great event.
Oh, very cool. And now you're looking at the images there. There's going to be a lot of families there, some children, teenagers, and adults. Mr. Torres, what would you like those families to go home with, to experience at the end of Fleet Week?
Have a good time, and to understand that whatever any natural disasters, any humanitarian disasters, really, I hope they go back home understanding that if anything like that happens, the armed forces, they'll be able to cover them.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be, I mean, this is, when you're talking about an entire week of activities, you're talking about a lot of displays. Talk about the amount of, you know, we're talking about ships and planes, everything that is based right here in the Bay Area for this week.
Right, we're talking, you know, 2,000 Marines and sailors just from San Diego alone that will be here, joining an additional 2,000 Coast Guard that are headquartered in San Francisco. You know, we're expecting more than 1 million people over the week. You know, Fleet Week is not just the weekend, it's not just the air show. It takes place over 7 days, and so there's a lot of events, a lot of interaction with the public, and of course there's so many opportunities to meet your Navy, meet your Coast Guard, meet your Marines up close, personal, and of course maybe take a selfie or two, because that's what it's all about. You know, it's about celebrating our armed forces and doing it as a part of this time-honored tradition.
So it's safe to say that the Bay Area is pretty safe this week.
I think so. We're in good hands.
All right. Again, Fleet Week has been happening all week. You can log on for more information. A lot of activities at Pier 30. Any final thoughts from either of you before I let you go? Show up and go get them, huh?
We're excited. You know, we definitely want the folks to come out and enjoy all these events, and obviously do it in a safe way. And of course, we look to a successful and safe event.
All right. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you for your service. All right. And up next, around Comunidad del Valle, neighborhood centers in the Mission. Stay with us.